Oh, well, hello everyone. I hope you're well. I hope you're staying safe. I hope you're washing your hands. I hope you're doing your fair share of all the stuff around the house. This is a tricky time for all of us. And I know, having taught you, how considerate you are of other people. So well done for what you're doing. Keep it up. But I do miss you. And I imagine, well, I'm pretty confident that you'll be missing your daily fix of the face of British psychology, me. So here I am again, just to talk you through a couple of things really. Um, so you've got a PowerPoint presentation to go through on the debate for the positive approach. But really, first, I just wanted to say that we're all facing difficult times, obviously, and you lot are being asked pretty much to function like university students rather than year 12 students. You've got a lot more independence, and given the looking at the work that most of you produced on the Myers and Dean's essay, you're really rising to that challenge. Okay, just developing those skills of getting on with work when you don't feel like it, or when there's no one telling you to do it exactly. Those are the things that you're going to need for the rest of your life. And if you build up those habits in the next few months, they're really going to help you for, well, as I say, for the rest of your life. This isn't just about psychology. This is about your future. Okay, so here we are back together, and I want to just explain to you how it's going to work. So this is a debate about the positive approach. Let me just share my screen with you. Yep, this is the one. Slideshow from the beginning. Okay, so okay, there we go. It's important to be as slick as you possibly can be. So, as we know, the big difference in the positive approach is that it's about improving life for everyone. It doesn't focus, for example, on people with mental illness or people with problems. So everyone's idea was that the approach is designed to help everyone thrive and become the best people they can possibly be. So, so that makes it very different from the other approaches that are very much geared towards helping people with problems or mental illness or difficulties. Okay, so the question then becomes: is that as relevant? Is that as useful a thing for psychology to be doing as the other approaches? We'll see that it can be applied in lots of areas, and we'll think, okay, do those applications actually, those applications in the real world, do they really make psychology relevant? Does positive psychology really fulfill and play such an important role as the other approaches do? Okay, so it's a new approach, as we've said. It's only been going since the 90s. So if that's the case, its supporters are really excited. They're all they make important claims about the approach and say that it can be used anywhere and for anyone. So that's that would seem to be a really positive thing and an improvement on an approach that's just focused on ill people. Okay. However, critics, on the other hand, say, well, actually, because it's such a young approach, there isn't anywhere near as much research as we would get from the other approaches. So we can't really support some of the claims that the people who promote people who promote positive psychology claim for it. Okay, so supporters of positive psychology are saying that it can actually help in lots and lots of different ways, and critics are asking, okay, where's the evidence for that? Right? Now, so in this debate, we're thinking, so for example, we might be asking the question, should we spend government money on the one hand, providing drug treatments for people who have mental illness, or should we be using that money to help people who don't have mental illness to actually improve their lives and become happier? So that's an oversimplification, but you can see there that we can have there are definitely two sides to this debate, and I want you to be thinking about those kind of questions and coming up with looking at research on both sides and coming up obviously with your own mini conclusions about those things. Okay, so the key thing is that we have to be able to say is ultimately we have to decide whether it is relevant in modern society or not. So you have to come up with your own opinion of that. Do you believe that positive psychology can bring benefits to people? Can you think of any downsides? Is there anything that positive psychology, any problems that positive psychology can cause for society or for psychology generally? Right. Okay, so here's the task. And this is what I want you to be thinking of. So again, we're going to have, you've got PowerPoint essay planner. I'll show you that in a minute. And I want you to make, as we did before, I want you to make revision notes or summary notes and write a model answer. You need to do both of those things on the PowerPoint, okay? So you will have a slide. So for example, the first topic that's covered in the book is use of positive psychology in education. So you'd want to have a slide that talks about both arguments for whether positive psychology should be part of the school curriculum. Should we teach people how to become happier, for example? Arguments against that, and then you need to come to your own mini conclusion. So you need to write those as summary slides, and then you should turn those summary slides into into essay paragraphs that you can use to provide yourself with a sort of model answer. Okay. Mini conclusions at the end of each paragraph are really important, and don't forget that you need to have an overall conclusion. Okay, there's a couple of bits of exam practice and so forth, but here's the, let me show you the actual PowerPoint itself, the one that you're going to share with you. Bear with me. And stop share that one. Then I'll share the next one. And here we go. So that's the question. Positive psychology has yet to prove it is as relevant in today's society as other psychological approaches. So you need to be thinking about how psychology does, how positive psychology compares. Is it as useful as behaviorism? Is it as useful as the cognitive approach? And if it is as useful as those, then your conclusion would be, or your mini conclusion, or whatever would be that it is relevant. But if you're saying it's not as useful or not as helpful as one of the other approaches, then maybe you'd have to say it's less relevant. Okay. Now, so in your template planner, this is the template that I want you to complete, and I'll be sharing with you in Classroom in a minute. Bullet point why it's a debate. Okay, so we need to have 3 points minimum about why it might be a debate, and then you turn that into your paragraph. First argument might be looking about education. Should we put positive psychology on the curriculum in secondary schools, for example? Should we train people in the things that make them happy? Sounds like a good idea, doesn't it? On the other hand, if we are going to train people in things like that, are we going to have room in the curriculum for all the other things? Okay, so you need to come up with, you need to check out the research on that and come up with your own view. Okay, turn that into a paragraph, and then we move on to the next one, and that's about work really, and what positive psychology has got to offer for work. Again, turn that into a paragraph. Leisure and lifestyle. There's lifestyle, yeah. Leisure and lifestyle. what does positive psychology tell us about those things? And is it useful? Is it useful for everyone, or is it the kind of thing that's really just useful for people who live in rich economies such as the one that we live in? Okay. Argument number 4 is, what contribution can positive psychology make to our health? And to make sure that we're completely up to date with these things, you may have heard of the coronavirus and the lockdown that we're all involved in. Is there any way, for example, that positive psychology might help us deal with all that kind of stuff? Okay, so that's something that would bring things absolutely up to date. Again, turn that into a paragraph, and then I want you to, on balance, say what you think about whether you think what positive psychology is relevant or not relevant to modern society. Okay, so that would do for that's how that would be. That's how I want you to approach that. If you've got any questions about any of that, you can obviously message me. I don't want you just to rely on the stuff in the textbook. I'll provide some other material from various places that I've found. Do Google search stuff yourself, because it's really important to be really in the top grade and hit the top bands. Just the material from the book on its own is just not really quite enough. Okay, so you need to be adding that little bit extra. What else have I got to say? Okay, yes, deadline for it. I'll put the deadline on the assignment. But you've got a double lesson tomorrow, and then you've got a couple of lessons next week. So I would like it to be completed by Wednesday of next week. I'll put that on. I'll just make a note for myself, and I'll put that on Classroom now with all the resources. Okay, that's it then. So stay safe, look after yourselves, look after your families, and just keep in a routine of doing things. Okay, and we want to try and be as near to normal as we can. So hang in there and do your best. Okay, get in touch if you need anything. Have a lovely week, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye then.